Hi guys, this is Charlie here at Sterling Power, and I'm here to introduce Sterling's latest battery-to-battery charger. We call it the Batt Ultra, and it's a device that is designed to be plugged in between two batteries, for example a starter battery and your domestic battery or an appliance battery of some form. We have them in many different formats. We have, for example, here the 12 volt 30 amp model. So this is nominally rated at 30 amps at 12 volts. Here we have a 12 volt 60 amp model that can also be 12 to 24 volts. It can be 24 to 24. It can be 24 down to 12, and it can be, we've also got 36 and 48 volt models in this particular design here. Now, the idea of them is, so let's say you're driving down the road in a commercial vehicle and you wish to charge your appliance batteries as you're driving along. You'd install one of these, like I said, between a starter battery and your appliance battery, and when the engine's running and you're going down the road, you will be charging up your appliance battery. So when you go from A to B, by the time you get to B, your battery should be topped up, if not fully charged. Now, the beauty with the latest battery-to-battery charger, the latest features we've put on these things, is called regenerative braking. Now, the regenerative braking feature, if you're not aware of it already, is good for modern commercial vehicles, modern vehicles in general that have a Euro 5 or Euro 6 or even more modern than that engine on board. From about 2008, 2009, this modification was made in commercial vehicles, whereby when you start your engine for the first time, the voltage often shoots up, possibly above 15, maybe even above 16. We've seen it up to 19.5 volts when you first fire these engines up in the morning. And then when you're cruising down a highway and the batteries are topped up, the voltage of the alternator can often drop below the voltage of your starter battery, often below 12.6. We've seen it down as low as 12.0, 12.1. Now that obviously plays havoc with your traditional, more conventional battery-to-battery chargers. It has problems with relays. It has problems possibly with fuses as well. Now this unit overcomes that problem by perfectly regulating what the output voltage is that your appliance battery is seeing. So when your alternator voltage drops because it's, as you're cruising down a highway, because it's attempting to conserve fuel and to reduce CO2 emissions, the voltage drops on the alternator, but the unit shall remain on. So below 13 volts and above about 12 volts, the unit will actually remain on for 120 seconds. So the battery-to-battery charger continues to charge your appliance batteries even when your alternator is in smart alternator, when it's in regenerative braking mode. So it will continue to charge. The other reason why we call this an Ultra is because it's jam-packed full of customizable features. For example, you can force this unit into float mode if you'd like to. You can force it into half power mode, whereby a 60 amp charger you can knock it down to 30 amp. This might be beneficial if your AGM manufacturer, for example, only recommends that you charge your battery at 0.3 C or 0.2 C rather than at maybe 0.6 C or whatever the default rating would be. So you have that ability to modify it on this new unit here. You can also modify things such as the charging profile. You can modify the bulk voltages, your absorption voltage, your conditioning voltage, and your float voltages can all be modified. You can modify the absorption time factor, the minimum and maximum time that the unit stays in absorption can all be modified on this unit. Now, as this unit does current limit, you have no fear now of running an appliance off of your appliance batteries whilst driving along, because the maximum current that can flow through this 60 amp unit on the 12 volt side is approximately 60 amps. If you're looking at the 24 volt or the 36 or the 48 volt model, that current might go up to 70 amps. But generally speaking, you cannot draw any more current through this unit than about 60 to 70 amps. which is absolutely ideal. Often people, they might be running large appliances from their appliance batteries whilst the engine is running and draw a lot of current down their relay system. It might blow fuses, it might weld the arc of the relay shut. It could cause a lot of damage in the DC circuitry. By having this installed, you can limit the current to a set and known amount, so you can set your fuses accordingly. So this is a great feature of the battery-to-battery charger in general. Okay, also the battery-to-battery charger comes with a 10-meter long temperature sensor. This product here that can be connected to the battery-to-battery charger, and then this little terminal here will be connected to the negative terminal of your appliance or your domestic or your output battery. And the whole point of the temperature sensor is that it can temperature compensate. So if you have it installed and it is very, very warm where your appliance battery is based, the voltage on the output will reduce slightly to compensate for that elevated temperature. And the contrary being that when it's cold where your auxiliary battery is, where your appliance battery is, the voltage shall actually elevate to compensate for that drop in temperature. So that is a device that does not have to be installed, but if it is installed, you do get that temperature compensation feature. If you aren't to install it, the unit just defaults to its 20-25 degree nominal setting, and it doesn't take into account what temperature your batteries are at. It has an internal temperature sensor, so if the if the temperature of the unit exceeds a certain threshold, it will then cut back and go into half current. But if there's no external temperature sensor connected, it won't modify the output voltage at all. Okay. With the battery-to-battery charger, we do sell a remote control as an optional product. This is the remote control here. Now this remote control has a 10-meter cable with it that you can you plug into the back of this, and it connects to the front of the battery-to-battery charger, 10 meters long, so you can install it in the helm, you can install it on the dashboard, you can install it anywhere you like. It's a good bit of kit that has a plethora of options with it. You can, for example, force the battery charger into half current mode. You can force it into float mode. You can turn the battery-to-battery charger on or off using the remote control. You can force it into night mode, which is another feature that allows the charger just to run at half power for about 8 hours. You can you can view the voltages on the input and the output of the battery-to-battery charger. You can see the warnings or any cautions that the battery-to-battery charger is relaying to the remote control. If you have the temperature sensor connected, you can also read the temperature of the auxiliary battery through the remote control. So it's basically just a device that gives you an enormous amount of control. It gives you almost complete control of the battery-to-battery charger, and it's an optional product. So I think it's a device certainly worth having. And thank you for watching. I've been Charlie. Thank you very much.